I'm gonna take a wild guess. You didn't start creating content on social media because you thought you were gonna be immediately showered with riches, right? You got into this for the love of the craft. But if you want to make a sustainable income being a creator, working with brands is a really good way to do that. However, what I'm about to tell you might shock you because no brand will ever say this to your face. First, when brands are recruiting for paid influencer campaigns, they do a ton of research about you before they ever reach out to you. So what does that mean? They're looking at your YouTube, they're looking at your TikTok, they're looking at your Instagram, your blog, wherever you're posting content, and they're trying to discern whether you'd be a good fit for this campaign. So you need to be looking at your platforms with a very objective eye. If it was your dream brand and you really wanted to work with them, would you hire you? Second, a lot of times brands don't even care how many followers you have and what your engagement rate is, because the whole purpose of the campaign is to repurpose your content so they can repost it on their Instagram or on their website or on their TikTok, because they don't have to go out there and hire a photographer, hire a videographer, hire a production company or an ad agency, because you can do it all yourself. And oh, by the way, you have organic distribution as well. So not only do they get these great assets that they can use, you have an audience to promote the product to as well. So what does this mean for you? Well, congratulations, your rate is now detached from your following. Third, when a brand reaches out to you about a paid campaign, if you do not respond quickly, it will not be worth the trouble of working with you. I'm sorry, but responding in 2 or 3 days is simply not going to cut it. The brand is probably working with 5, 10, 15, 50 influencers, not just you. So what you're saying to them is that every single time they email you about some detail from the campaign, it's going to take 2 to 3 days to hear back from you. You might say, yeah, but if I was hired for the campaign, I would respond more quickly. But they don't know that. All they have to go off of is your first interaction. So answer your emails more quickly. Fourth, brands and agencies will sometimes pay different influencers with the same following double or triple the amount. Let's take a toy brand, for example, with a product that's rated for kids age 6 to 12. Let's say they're working with 10 influencers for this campaign. They need some with kids who are 6. They need some with kids who are 9. They need some with kids who are 12. So if they're having a hard time finding influencers with kids who are 12, well, they may just pay you double or triple your rate to check that box. So you're probably thinking, what can I do with this information? They're not going to tell me that. You need to treat every interaction as if the brand cannot afford to walk away from you. Fifth, if you're working with a brand or agency, your contact likely has a boss that they're reporting to. So if you're being difficult about a very small request that they're asking, maybe they're asking to, trim out just a few seconds from that video, and you're hemming and hawing and putting up a big fight about it, you are making their lives very difficult. They now have to go to their boss and explain that you're being very difficult. And guess what? Their boss is going to blame them because they're the one that hired you. So keep some perspective. How can you make your brand contact win? Rather than being part of the problem, how can you be a part of the solution? Because you better believe that when they're recruiting for that next campaign, your contact is going to remember that you helped them out in a pinch. Sixth, brands will give repeat business to influencers that treat them well and that they like.
This is Ned Flanders, my friend.
Especially at advertising agencies, your contact probably works for 5 to 7 other clients who are all in similar categories, who all probably run influencer campaigns as well. Or if you're working with a brand directly, that contact is probably going to move on to a different job in a few years because people move around all the time in this space. So when they start running campaigns in the new job, they're going to remember you. Treating everyone with kindness should be a no-brainer, but it's especially important when you realize that building rapport with your contacts will directly lead to more money for you.
Oh my God.
$60,000.
We are so rich.
Seventh, there are a lot of shady brands out there who are banking on the fact that you are not savvy and have no idea what you're doing. They're hoping that you don't understand things like paid media rights and exclusivity. They're hoping that you'll give them the rights to use your content perpetually, which means forever. A lot of creators invest in things like camera gear and lenses and new phones and laptops, but if you're not investing in your knowledge, you're going to be leaving money on the table and potentially limit your future opportunities. Speaking of which, if you want to join the waitlist for my 4-week course, Brand Deal Wizard, where I help you find and negotiate your dream sponsorships so that you never leave thousands on the table again, click that link in the description. So do you know about other things that are happening behind the scenes with brands? If you know some juicy details, drop it in the comments. And one more thing, do you want intel on new brand deal campaigns? Every week I send out sponsorship opportunities exclusively to creators on my newsletter, so make sure to join using the link below.